And now, please welcome doTERRA Blue Diamond and Functional Medicine Practitioner, Dr. Mariza Snyder.
Over the course of the last week, can you recall a moment, maybe it was in the afternoon, when you felt like you were dragging yourself from one task to another? In those energy depleted moments, doesn't it feel like everything from driving home from work to figuring out what you're gonna have for dinner feels exhausting? There comes a point in our life where we begin to wonder, well, what is happening to my energy? Or you've looked in the mirror and thought, this doesn't feel like me anymore. Listen, I've been there myself. When I have struggled with unrelenting exhaustion, brain fog, unexplained weight gain, and chronic stress. This was about 10 years ago. This is right at the time that I had just opened my practice. And I cannot tell you how excited I was to be taking care of patients. I had worked my entire life, my entire adult life, probably younger life too, but definitely adult life to get to that point, to leverage my expertise as a women's hormone doctor and as a biochemist. But then my body completely shut down. It felt like a Mack truck had hit me. And my days as a Tasmanian devil with lip gloss came to a sudden end. And I remember that morning so vividly. It was 7 a.m. I was getting up, the alarm went off to get ready to go to work and serve my patients. And it literally felt like this invisible hand was pressing me back down into bed, and I couldn't lift my head up off the pillow. I felt scared. There were all kinds of thoughts that were running through my mind, but the big one was just, come on, you've got to get up. You've got to go take care of your patients. And it took everything out of me that day to will myself into the bathroom to get ready. It was energy that I had taken for granted. And I remember looking in the mirror, and I didn't even recognize the stranger staring back at me. And the first thought that came into my head was, how are you supposed to take care of your patients when you can't even take care of yourself? I felt so much shame. I couldn't focus. I couldn't think. I couldn't show up for the people that mattered most to me. I was suffering from what I called hormone chaos, because that's what it felt like to me. So I went to go off and run some labs. And when the labs came back, my stress hormones, my reproductive hormones, everything was out of whack. Basically, the top of my lab report said, hormone hot mess. And when the doctor who had run the labs for me, because as a practitioner, you should never self-diagnose. So as she had given me these two solutions, I remember looking down at them, and I knew in my gut that these weren't gonna get me well. I felt so alone. I felt dismissed. I felt defeated. But I also felt resolute. I knew that I needed to figure out what was going on with me. I knew I needed to dig into the research and figure out how to heal my hormones and get to the root cause. And I also realized one more big thing, and that was that my story, it wasn't unique. There are millions of women right now struggling with hormone issues without a clear solution. And so the first question I had to ask myself was, how did I get here? How did I get so far down? How did I get so sick in my late 20s and early 30s. And at first, I couldn't figure it out. Here's the thing about a wellness journey is that it's not always this forward trajectory. Sometimes it can get a little messy. Sometimes it's this crazy roller coaster. And I'll tell you what, I found myself back on the ground more than not. But then I figured it out, that I was holding on to this powerful, disempowering belief that I had learned as a little girl. See, growing up, I was taught that my worth as a woman was predicated on how much I did for others. And so I worked as hard as I could remember, as early as I can remember, because I was determined to prove my worth through working hard, serving others, and putting more on my plate. And at some point, that plate became this massive, unmanageable platter. And yet, I still felt guilty for not doing enough for others. I was convinced that self-care was selfish and self-indulgent. I remember calling my workout hour my selfish hour. That's how disempowering my mindset was for most of my life. I was not myself. I felt like a robot just going through the motions, and I had no reserves to show up for the people that mattered most to me. Women like myself often feel guilt and shame for taking time out from themselves, and that's where we get in trouble. Have you ever felt guilty for taking time out for yourself? I learned the hard way that self-care isn't selfish, nor self-indulgent. It's the ultimate sign of self-respect. We often feel the need to get permission to love ourselves and to treat ourselves with respect. But I want to ask you, whose permission are we waiting for? If you have ever felt guilty about self-care, I want you to take a moment right now and answer these two questions. Am I worthy of being healthy? Am I ready to say yes to me? And I want you to just take another moment. I want you to take a deep breath with me. And I want you to say to yourself, I am ready to say yes to me. See, the biggest way that we limit ourselves is that we take care of everyone else first and we put ourselves last. And the only way we get to shift that priority is to shift the belief that we feel about ourselves. You don't have to go on believing what you were taught or what you heard. You get to decide today. It's time to shift that belief and decide that you are worthy and deserving. Because let me tell you, your body, you deserve a body that simply works for you. So let's dive into how to support your hormones, because that's what you're here for, right? Today, my goal is to lay the foundation for not only how your hormones work, to give you an understanding into how your hormones become imbalanced in the first place, and then the best part, I am going to show you how you can create powerful, effective solutions with essential oils, rituals, and so much more. But first, what I want to do is ask you a question. I want to know, have your hormones been hijacked? Have you felt like your hormones were imbalanced, but you just couldn't put your finger on it? Or maybe you have found yourself feeling, well, not feeling like yourself, but you couldn't figure out what was going on. You just know that you used to feel better than you do today. So what I want to do with you right now is I want to do a quick assessment. Up on the screen in just a second are going to be some signs for hormone balance. And what I want to know is if you've experienced 2 or more of these signs, well then, your hormones are absolutely involved. And most likely, you're dealing with some type of hormonal imbalance in one of your hormone pathways. But what I do want you to know right now is that you're not alone. As you're looking at that list and you're doing your own self-assessment, I want you to know that over 96% of women in today's modern world are dealing with some type of hormonal imbalance. And that's why we're having this conversation today. Now I want to lay the groundwork. I want to take a moment and answer a question that a lot of people ask me every single day. And that is, what are hormones? So often we think that hormones are periods and hot flashes, or PMS and hot flashes, and they are so much more than that. Your hormones are powerful chemical messengers that are constantly at play in the body, and they affect nearly all functions in the body, from body temperature to blood sugar, from fertility to metabolism, from your brain function to even how your hair grows. Your hormones literally right now are eliciting powerful changes inside of the body. And I want to explain a little bit about how it works. So basically, you'll see a picture of the endocrine system right here. And what happens is that your limbic brain, the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland, receive messages from external sources, internal sources, and they then send hormones out to your endocrine glands. Those endocrine glands then send hormones through the bloodstream to target cells. Now, these target cells have receptor sites. And depending on how many receptor sites are on that target cell determines how receptive or how sensitive they are to that specific hormone. Now, I want to give an example. Let's take a thyroid hormone. So your thyroid sends out a message through T3 to all different target cells in the body that begin to elicit powerful changes, predominantly metabolic changes in your cells, in your organs, in your tissues. Probably one of the most powerful, important hormones in the body. And what's so great about this is that then it can help elicit other changes in the system as well. Now, while not all cells are exposed to hormones circulating in the blood, while all cells are exposed to circulation of these hormones, not all of them are going to be impacted. Only the ones that have those target receptor sites that will respond to that actual signal. Now, the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because your endocrine system is very, very intricate. And it's also important to know that it's extremely interconnected. And what that means is that when one hormone is impacted, absolutely other hormones are affected too. Now, if you suspect that your hormones are deregulated, the most important question to ask yourself and to ask your professional, because we don't ask this question enough, is what caused the hormonal imbalance in the first place? The really important question, because guess what? Your hormones just don't go imbalanced. Something has to cause them. And what I want to offer you today are the biggest root causes to hormone balance. You're going to see a list: environmental toxins, heavy metals, trauma, chronic fatigue, hidden infections, nutrient deficiencies, and also leaky gut syndrome or gut dysbiosis. And I know that Dr. Hill went over a lot of gut protocols with you yesterday. Now that you have the root causes, I want to tell you that the first step towards hormonal balance, no matter what the cause is a strong foundation. Your foundation is everything. And one of the biggest reasons why I fell in love with doTERRA is their importance that they place on a wellness lifestyle rooted in healthy habits. All of doTERRA's products support a healthy lifestyle. Now, what you're going to see is the wellness doTERRA pyramid, and you're going to see the 4 lifestyle pillars listed. Number 1 is eating right. And I cannot tell you how important food is to your hormones. Food will either take you closer to hormone balance or further from hormone balance. I want you to be focusing on a lot of plants, a lot of fiber, a lot of healthy fats, a lot of lean proteins. Ideally, I would love it if you ate a pound of veggies a day, or at least 7 servings. I'm just gonna let you know how I feel about what I think you should be doing. And you wanna supplement with really powerful nutrition. So it's no surprise at all that I have a serious obsession with a lifelong vitality pack. This trio delivers. And this is why it delivers, is that so often we are dealing with nutrient deficiencies and we don't even know it. Now, when it comes to this trio, in order for you to get the max benefit, you've got to be consistent. Next is exercise. Motion is life. Exercise is the cornerstone to not only keeping us young, reducing stress levels, but also supporting our brain, our heart, and our bones. And let's be honest, we are doing a lot of exercise this week, walking from one place to another. So at least you're covered this week. Next is rest and stress management. I'm going to go into more detail in this topic, but I just want you to understand that this is such an important piece to your everyday lifestyle. And then last is going to be reducing your toxic load. We live in a very chemical modern world, and we're exposed to endocrine disruptors every single day in our water, our food, our cleaning supplies, our personal care. I'm sure a lot of you flew here to get to this convention, and getting on that plane and flying here also increased your toxic load. So what I want you to be thinking about when it comes to trying to reduce your toxic load and reduce those endocrine disruptors is to ensure that you are avoiding them as much as possible. One of my dear friends, she's an environmental toxin expert, and she always tells me avoidance, avoidance, avoidance. This is another reason why I love doTERRA, is that they have this gorgeous suite of products, from cleaning products to personal care, deodorant, toothpaste, I mean, name it. All you gotta do is swap it out, and you have set yourself up for success along with your family. Now that we've covered the foundation, I want to start talking about powerful solutions for hormonal issues. And the first one that I want to consider, the most important one to consider, is stress. As I mentioned earlier, stress is one of the biggest drivers of hormonal imbalance in the body. It's fuel on the fire, is what it is. And how it runs is through perceived stress. Did you know that the average adult experiences perceived stress 50 times a day? And when that happens, you move through a powerful stress response. It's called the HPA axis. I'm sure we talked a little bit about it with Danielle yesterday. And in that cascade of that hormone pathway, we release stress hormones. And one of the biggest hormones there is going to be cortisol. Now, cortisol is an alpha hormone. And what I mean by that is that it can elicit changes in other hormones in the body, including insulin, estrogen, and thyroid. That means when you are stressed, you impact those significant hormones and your metabolic resilience. So how can we set ourselves up for success and significantly reduce our perceived stress? That first step is self-awareness and having the right tools at your fingertips. One of the most important and effective ways to reduce your stress at a moment's notice like that is going to be with aromatherapy. Now, I know I don't have to tell you this, but it is important to have your oils on you at all times, because you never know when perceived stress is lurking around the corner. In your text message, in your Instagram, in your email. It can be anywhere. So what I want to do is I want to teach you a technique. So when you're feeling overwhelmed or overloaded with all the stuff going on, you have got something you can call to. I call it the power of the pause, and we're going to do it together. This simple meditation is a powerful way to shift you from a stress state to a relaxed state in 60 seconds or less. So what I want you to do is I want you to grab your favorite calming essential oil. And if you don't have one, I promise you the person next to you is going to. Now, my go-to blend to stop the stress madness is going to be my Superwoman blend. And I developed this blend, and it's gonna come up in just a moment. I created this blend not only for hormone support and to get into your zone of genius, but to also help support your emotional well-being. All right, you've got your oil, we're ready to roll. I want you to roll that oil or put a drop into your palms. And we're gonna do this technique together. Once you have the oil on your palms, you're gonna rub your palms together. And then I'm gonna demonstrate really quickly how we're gonna do this, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your hands to your nose and you're gonna take a deep, deep belly breath through your nose. And you're gonna hold it for 5 seconds. And then you're gonna let it all out. Let all the stress out, exhale all the way to the bottom and hold it for 5 seconds. And you're gonna repeat this technique 5 to 10 times or until you feel like you're in a relaxed state or you're in a state of ease and grace. And what I love about this technique is that it sends an immediate message to the limbic brain to switch tracks from sympathetic, fight or flight, to parasympathetic tone, rest and digest. What's so incredible about this is that with this technique, you now control your stress response. How awesome is that? I'm gonna show you a couple other calming blends that I absolutely love. And you know what? It's really just about what feels good to you, whether it's Clary Calm or it's Whisper. I just want you to know that you've got a beautiful array of tools at your fingertips. Now, what I wanna move into is banishing fatigue. Earlier in my talk, I asked you if you'd ever felt exhausted or drained. And here's the thing about fatigue, is that it's driven by a lot of things. 24-hour connectivity, nutrient deficiency, lack of self-care, toxins, and rushing women's syndrome, which I have been the spokesperson for many years. Now, what if I told you today that you can shift your energy levels? Lifestyle is your ticket to more energy. And here are my recommendations that I personally love, not only to help boost the energy, but to help protect your energy. Number 1, a self-care morning ritual. This is a game change. That first 5 to 30 minutes of your morning needs to be for you. Before you become someone else's priority, before you get into your email, before you get into text messaging. I remember a favorite quote by Louise Hay, and she said, "How you start your morning is how you live your life." And when I read that quote for the first time, I was literally that Tasmanian devil, racing from one thing to the next, trying to get out the door as fast as humanly possible. And I read that quote and I was like, oh my goodness, that's my life. I'm literally living in chaos. And so this morning ritual will set you up for success. And I've got some great protocols for that in just a little bit. Next, supplementation. Mito2Max and LLV are profound for helping to support your mitochondrial levels, those little energy powerhouses that are making energy for you. So you want to double up and take both together. Then it's all about making sure that your circadian rhythms are working, that you're getting deep, high quality sleep. So I love oils like Serenity and Vetiver. And if you are feeling tired in the middle of the day and you need a little extra something, I love these oils. Motivate, Cheer. And I don't know about you guys, but I literally go through a gallon of Motivate every single week. It's my favorite oil. And then last but not least, if you need to charge up, I highly recommend a Superwoman stance. All you gotta do is step away from the computer screen and go outside if you can, step into your power pose and rock that Superwoman energy, especially with your favorite essential oil. Now, these recommendations are legit, but here's the thing, you've gotta commit. You've got to be willing to do them on a day-to-day basis to boost your energy levels. So now that you've got everything you need, I want to shift gears and talk about cravings. I want to talk about how to banish cravings, because this is one of the big areas that I get asked every single day. And here's the deal. Your cravings, they're typically because of an unmet need. Usually because your body is experiencing fatigue, stress, brain fog, emotional issues. Because let me tell you, never did your liver say it wanted that cupcake. No. Your liver is not looking for that. So I want to teach you how to win the cupcake stare down. So I have 3 beautiful techniques that I'm going to show you right now to banish cravings for good. Number 1, properly fuel your body. Every meal of the day, healthy fats, fiber, and lean protein so that you are fueled up. Number 2, know your cravings triggers. Are you reaching for that bag of peanut M&Ms at 3 p.m. or are you reaching for them at 10 p.m.? Know when your craving strikes. That way you can use number 3. Now, in my research, essential oils are one of the most effective ways, hands down, for banishing cravings. They are literally craving suppressors. And my go-to combo is grapefruit, lemon, and peppermint. And there was this awesome study done by Dr. Alan Hirsch, where he looked at how peppermint was crazy effective at craving suppression by simply breathing it in. Now, my go-to blend is absolutely Slim and Sassy. Not only is it great for reducing cravings, but it has side benefits. How many of you love an oil with side benefits? Yeah. Boosting metabolism, boosting energy, and helping to support the digestive system. And use it however you love to use it, in your water, on your palms. And here's the ticket. A craving only lasts 90 seconds. That's it. So grab that oil, put it on, and then bolt as far away as you can from that refrigerator. Now I want to move into supporting your reproductive hormones. I want to first start with your menstrual cycle. See, our menstrual cycle is literally our 5th vital sign. And what I mean by that is that it is an indicator for your overall health. And the more that you understand your cycle and you take care of it, the more you understand what's going on in your bodies. So what you're going to see are my recommendations for maintaining a healthy menstrual cycle. First, foundation, gut support, and LLV. Next, I want you to be using the Claricalm monthly blend, especially after ovulation, through the luteal phase of your cycle into your period. Then I want you to do the self-care, and we're going to get to that in just a moment. And lastly, my hormone-loving essential oils. Clary sage, geranium, neroli, yarrow palm. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for the new products. Yes. Now, as we transition into perimenopause and menopause, I do want you to know that the recommendations that I just gave are 100% applicable. But I want to bring up some other recommendations as well. Again, foundation is key. LLV, gut support, but depending on what your needs are and where you are in that journey, I love the phytoestrogen and I love the bone nutrient. And then I want you using Claricalm every single day. And for cellular vitality, because we absolutely need that as well, the turmeric capsules, DDR prime, and frankincense. Those are going to be big ones for me when it comes to perimenopause and menopause. Now that I have addressed some of the core concerns and solutions around our hormones, I have a very special treat for you. So excited. Raise your hand if you are ready for more energy, focus, and happiness in your daily life. Awesome. Well, the next 6 slides are very, very important, so be sure to pay close attention. I have created my daily self-care protocols for you to implement. Now, I am really close out of time, so these are Dr. Hill's daily recommendations with added hormone support. And this is what I know to be true, is if you commit to these daily protocols, you will experience powerful, effective results. You ready? You get your cameras ready. Listen closely because I don't have a lot of time to go through these. First, we're starting off with the morning protocol. You're going to see oils on one side. You're going to see supplements on the other. Next, you're going to see my morning self-care rituals. Now, I want you to know something about my rituals is that they were designed with ease and grace. So don't feel overwhelmed by them. Pick a couple that feel good to you. And as you get started and feel good, you can add more over time. Next, we've got my daytime protocols. Because let's be honest, that's when you get hit with all the stuff, right? It happens during the day. So I've got oils to support you, and I've got supplements to support you. Now with the LLV and the Phyto and Bone Nutrient, you just take them twice a day, but you have the option of doing them at lunch or at dinner. So I want to make that clear for you as well. And let's go to daily self-care rituals. These are all of the rituals that you can do during the day to honor and nourish yourself. Some of them are 30 seconds long. Some of them are 5 minutes long. Pick and choose what feels good to you. Next is evening protocols. These protocols are designed to make sure that you get a restful night's sleep, that you feel grounded and ready to rock your day with high energy the next day. You've got oils to support you, you've got supplements for dinner, and then you've got the self-care rituals. Now, these rituals, again, are designed to bookend your night, last 30 minutes, so that you are feeling incredible and that you get that 7 to 9 hours of sleep. So what do you think? Are you ready to experience the first breakthrough towards balancing your hormones today? You get to have that first breakthrough right now by saying yes to you. You get to trust that intuition that says you are worthy and deserving. By saying yes to you and by deciding to say yes, the next step is easy. All you gotta do is simply implement my protocols come Monday morning. The moment you commit to yourself, it shifts your confidence and belief. It sets you up for healing miracles. Commitment to your health is the greatest gift you can give to yourself. And when you do that, you are able to show up bigger for your mission and the people that you love. And I know that's what you care about. So I hope that you are ready to get started, because that door right there towards hormone balance, energy, and vitality, it is yours for the taking. Thank you.